as someone who's really been against Nazis and Nazi rallies and Charlottesville and elsewhere, I've been hit with a stream of hate. Um, but when I compare the hate that I might get, and when I see what women get, and particularly black women get, it's incomparable. They don't tell me what they're going to do to me before they're going to kill me. They don't do that. And if you go into many women, black women, Ilhan Omar's feeds, it's the most disgusting thing you could ever imagine. So there really has to be a group protective barrier, whether that's students, whether that's others, that we have to be in great solidarity, but in intentional ways that recognize privilege as well. My question is I saw a post, Dr. Jones, you said, I'm worried for these kids who are being brainwashed. We see these young kids, white kids, they're saying, I am Charlie Kirk. Before you came on, Atan and I were having a debate. He had a friend who said this is going to blow over. We don't think it's going to blow over. We are concerned as well and want to figure out how to fight back. Can you speak to that post about that, your worry, and about these brainwashed kids and how they're distorting Charlie Kirk's memory?
Yeah, so Charlie Kirk into Turning Point, just for folks who don't know, he has chapters at both high schools and colleges. So he was very strategic about making the audience young folks. And especially this generation, they are fired up, they are ready to fight for something. And he gave them something to fight for, even though that something is evil and wrong and bigoted and all of those things. But I think for me, when I think about those kids, like they're at the most impressionable points of their lives, right? High school kids, college kids as well. So I look at college student the development theory, right? So in this age group is when they're coming into their racial identity, their gender identity, their sexual identity, their political identity, right? Like this is the time to educate and mold. And they can either be taught by educators that love them and believe in the truth and want to do that, or they can get brainwashed and indoctrinated by people like Charlie Kirk. And I see those things on campuses across the country. The university that I'm at right now, we have a Turning Point chapter, right? And they had a vigil for Charlie on Friday, right? So just what that does, I feel like makes me nervous as an educator, as a Black woman professor, as a professor that's on the watch list. I'm always fearful in general because of all the hate and things I get, but this is the first time in my career that I've been fearful of students.
Mm.
And for me, that breaks my heart in a way that I can't even articulate because teaching is my favorite thing in the whole world. It wakes me up, it makes my heart go pitter patter, like it is my purpose. But to be in classrooms now where I'm just like, I don't know if one of these students wants to hurt me. I don't know if one of these students is radicalized by Charlie Kirk. Um, I'm getting chills thinking about it. Like it's just a very different space to be in. So much so that I made all my classes virtual this week because I was
Mm.
afraid. And like I want things to die down, but they're not going to die down, right? So my students ask me, "Hey, Dr. Jones, are we going to go back to in person next week?" I don't know. Like I honestly don't know for both my safety as well as the safety of my students who are also very vocal about how they feel about Charlie and his bigotry and things like that. So both of us are in danger. So it's a very weird space to be in right now, and I hate it.
It's interesting. I'm going home to Tulsa, Oklahoma. My high school's having a homecoming, and I'm going to do a panel there. And I'm wrestling with the topics that because I know that when I open it up to Q&A, this topic is going to come up. I mean, we just had the Department of Education in Oklahoma send out a memo for, and this was earlier, this was supposed to be for last Tuesday, for all of Tulsa Public Schools, all schools in Oklahoma, to take a moment of silence at 12 o'clock noon for Charlie Kirk. So I read it. I was like, wait a minute, this can't be what I just read. Let me read it again. You know what I mean? I had to have read that wrong. And I read it again, and it was the same thing. Now, the reason why I got it was that a teacher who follows me on Facebook slid it to me in my DMs and said, hey, tell everybody about this because I can't say anything. Because she is in a situation where, of course, if she says something, she'll be fired. And that is the state that everyone is in, is this fear for even discussing the topic.
Mm.
So how do you broach this topic which is the topic of what is being discussed right now amongst students. But how do you broach it from an education standpoint, from a professor standpoint? What do you do? Do you ignore the topic? Do you hope it goes away after a while? Do you're moving your classes virtually because you're uncomfortable? You have this pressure from the, I'm sure, the powers that be that are threatening you if you talk about this, if you talk about this. How do you deal with this as a professor?
Well, I refuse to let them shut me up. And honestly, because I'm so public on social media, like even if I didn't say it in my classroom, they would still come for me, right? Like that's gonna happen regardless. And I've leaned all the way into it where I've talked to my students about it. So like I've shown them in class the videos that I've posted about Charlie Kirk. I've asked them because one of my classes were specifically it's about fake news, battling misinformation and disinformation, right? So we're talking about it, and we talked about all the people that have been fired for celebrating supposedly. So I showed them one of my videos. I was like, "Do you think I'm celebrating?" Right? Like, hey, let's have an honest conversation about it. Talk to them again this week. I was like, I don't know if I'm going to get fired for the things I've posted on social media, right? But this is my stance. This is this is what I believe in. So I'm very open with them. Can I lose my job? Possibly. But
Mm-hmm.
like I'm working part-time now because I haven't been able to find a full-time job because of how public and open and honest I am. But it's definitely something I have to be strategic with. But I'm just like I always say I believe that fighting for Black lives may eventually cost me my own. Like I've always said that, but I feel like it might cost me my physical life, my professional life, like all of these things are on the line for me. But the truth is just so much more important to me. So I got to do some more hustling on the side to, pay to pay bills, and then so be it. But I'm an educator. My job is to educate, and I am going to do that.